Welcome to my top 10 most anticipated and noteworthy comics for October 2nd, 2024. I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Guys, it's never too early to start that pull list for next week, and hopefully this list does help you make decisions on what comic books to buy. Before we dive into it, I just gotta give a quick shout out to Whatnot. In my description box below, there is a link where you guys can use Whatnot. And if you haven't used it and you want to create an account for the first time and win that first auction, you can get $15 off. So whether you are a collector of comics, of action figures, of any other type of thing there is, take advantage of that link and save yourself 15 bucks today. That is Whatnot. Alright guys, so here we go. We're talking about the book that's on the hot seat this week, and this one goes to Star Wars, The Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising, Issue 1. Way too long of a title. So this one is 40 pages, $5. This is a book where I haven't really been into all the Star Wars titles since the early release of Star Wars. This is taking place right after that Battle of Endor, the Ewoks. And I don't know, man. We'll see the direction of where this goes. Could this be interesting? We're exploring all new territory, I guess, when it comes to the Star Wars universe. So we'll see what happens. Now is a book that's on the rise, and this one goes to Conan Battle of Blackstone. This is issue 2. When it came to the last issue of this, I kind of jumped into it cold. I had no idea what's going on with Conan, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading the Conan main series and then continue with this. The first issue was pretty interesting as they came across this stone that makes everyone crazy and they die, and it gave Conan some incredible rage and just a lot of stuff going on. So I guess I want to know more about the history of this stone and what's going to be the outcome of it. So a lot of people are saying that it's kind of easy to jump on this, so I guess I'm going to try and hopefully I'll get into it. I heard it was really good, so I'm excited. So this one is $4. Coming in at number 10, we got Poison Ivy. This is issue 26. So I guess Poison Ivy is alive again. She's got brand new life, restored powers, and this is the time where you want to jump on Poison Ivy. Anytime you see any of these DC comic books that have the old school logo on there, right, and it says DC All In, this is the time to jump in. So I'm going to jump on board with Poison Ivy on this book. We'll see what it has to offer. G. Willow Wilson is the writer of this, so 32 pages, and this one is $4. Coming in at number 9, we have Absolute Power. This is issue 4. I think this is the last issue of this. I felt like issue 3 was very condensed. There was a lot going on because I felt like they had to get going with the story so they can wrap this all up in one more issue. Overall, I thought the story's been very interesting. The heroes had their backs against the wall for the most part. I did like the introduction to the Brainiac Queen. I don't think she's coming back anymore though, I think, and I really liked how she possessed John, and I liked how the heroes were just under some kind of they had their backs against the wall, and I wish that happened a little bit more. Now, are there going to be any ramifications from Absolute Power? Still yet to be determined. I guess maybe that's why we get DC Absolute. Who knows? But nevertheless, it's been pretty solid. This one is 40 pages and it is $5. Coming in at number 8, we have Batman issue 153. Look at the logo. Yes, DC All In. So Chip Zdarsky is the writer of this title still, but this is the time where you're going to want to jump on Batman once again, because this is DC All In, right? And now that Absolute Power is over, can Chip Zdarsky write a story that he wants to tell? Because the previous story that he wrote with Failsafe and everything that led up to Absolute Power was because of an event. So it kind of makes sense maybe why people didn't like it so much. So we'll see now if he has more reign of what he can do, like more say on what he can do, and to make this title really good. So we'll see what happens. 40 pages, $5. Coming in at number 7, this is Hyde Street. This is issue 1. Another book by, is this one done by Jeff Johns as well? Again, this one is really cool. It's the Ghost Machine imprint. It's a horror anthology series. We've seen a lot of these books, but when I read the preview, I thought this one was actually, it seemed very interesting. I liked the horror element of it. The artwork was pretty good with it. So, you know what? I'm going to try it out, see what it has to offer. Ghost Machine hasn't let me down yet. So, yeah, looking forward to it. 40 pages, $4. Coming in at number 6, another Ghost Machine imprint book, Red Coat issue 6. Really solid series at this point. I didn't think I would like this series as much as I have. Excuse me. But the story just has fleshed out at this point, and we got this story about Simon Pure, who has been granted immortality. He's teamed up with a young Einstein, and now he's been on death's door excuse me, in the past couple issues, and he has to find a way to, you know, I guess escape death. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Really good artwork as well. I think Brian Hitch does the artwork here. 32 pages, $4. Coming in at number 5, we have Gunslinger Spawn, issue 36. Listen, the Dead Zones have been closed forever, or no, I should not say they're closed. They've been expanded, but they have not been able to grant the Spawn characters their powers of healing. So Gunslinger Spawn is all beat up. He's in a medically induced coma, and we've gotten to see kind of what's going on in his mind while he's sleeping. Interesting artwork in the story, and I kind of like seeing the inner thoughts of him while he was asleep, you know, because these doctors that were examining him are like, how could he actually survive all these scars and battles? And as a reader, you got to see that. Plus, this book is inexpensive. It's 24 pages for the price of $3. Coming in at number 4, we have Nemesis Rogue Gallery. This is issue 3. Nemesis is just a whole book in itself. You want to talk about an explicit content book. If you want to talk about a book that should be polybagged, it's always Nemesis. There's always so much that goes in, very vulgar, very grotesque things that happen. And, you know, Nemesis, he wants revenge. He actually wound up getting a sidekick in the last issue, and he's just taking on the cops. And very interesting story. However, I wonder if his little sidekick is going to get too big for his britches and he's going to try to betray Nemesis. I don't know. We'll see. Very good read. 32 pages, $5. Top 3. Here we go. Number 3 goes to Deadpool issue 7. You might be a little bit surprised that it might not be higher because it was my number 1 favorite book of the week this past current comic book week, but I think there's a couple other books that I'm more highly anticipating. Yeah. Okay. So this book, though, is very good, and I think this is Cody Ziegler's best work yet. I think he has created a fantastic supporting cast when it comes to the Deadpool character. It's just not focused on him, and I think the fourth wall breaking here is done very well. It's balanced, and you really want to learn more about Ellie, Deadpool's daughter, and you gotta love Taskmaster, Princess. Again, the supporting cast is really what makes this book. The artwork is bright, it's vibrant, and it's fun. And you know, the last issue had quite the cliffhanger, so curious to see where that whole thing goes too. So definitely looking forward to Deadpool issue 7, 32 pages, $4. Coming in at number 2, this goes to Plastic Man No More. This is issue 2. So really fantastic book here. Wasn't expecting it to be so well done like it was. It got you introduced to Plastic Man, where he came from, how he became the character that he is. Then he suffered a horrific accident where he's basically not regenerating, kind of just like freaking Deadpool right now, right? And he could die, and he's trying to make amends with his son, trying to give his son a warning as well. This book has a lot of heart in it. Does he solve his issue? Who knows? I mean, this is like an Elseworld story, right? He could actually die in this book. You never know. But it's very well written. It's very well illustrated. Definitely recommend this one. 32 pages, $5. All right, guys, so after number 1, we're not done, as we do have those noteworthy comics to talk about, because there's a lot more than just 10 comic books that I feel that you should know about that is coming out. And my number 1 most anticipated book is the DC All-In Special Issue 1. So this is obviously following the events of Absolute Power, and we're going to get, I guess, what creates maybe the Absolute Universe. I don't know, but this is a big deal for DC, and this is a big deal for comic book fans, and I think this has to be a must-win for DC Comics, because I really don't know where they go from here. We've had so many initiative changes, and they've kind of fallen off the wagon on every single one of them. Let's hope that this one hits and people are excited, and I hope that, you know, us YouTubers really like it, so we get the word out that people say, oh, you know, reviewers out there are really enjoying this. Why don't we check it out, right? So hopefully it's good. It's a 64-page comic. It's a big one. For $5, I think it's reasonably priced for a 64-page comic. Wraparound cover. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. Time for those noteworthy comics. First off, we got Marvel Comics. We have X-Men issue 5. It's not a horrible book, but it's not the greatest either. What's the direction of the book? What's the main purpose of this book? Not quite sure yet. They just look like they're randomly rescuing, you know, random mutants or just getting their powers. I don't know. We'll see. Then we have Ultimate Black Panther issue 9, followed by Daredevil. This is issue 14. Then we have the Immortal Thor. This is issue 16. Then we have the debut issue of Storm issue 1. We have the continuation of Venom War. We're at Venom issue 3. Then we have Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider. This is issue 6. Followed by Venom War again, Spider-Man issue 3. We have, I think, the conclusion to Get Fury issue 6. Let me know in the comments below. Then we have Wolverine Deep Cut. This is issue 4. And then we have Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes Special issue 1. Then we move on to the DC side of things. We have Birds of Prey. This is issue 14. Next we have Justice Society of America issue 12 if it comes out on time. Same with Shazam. That was delayed last time. So this is Shazam. This is issue 16. Then we have My Adventures with Superman, issue 5. Then we have DC's I Know What You Did Last Crisis, issue 1. Great cover. Then we have DC Horror Presents Creature Commandos, issue 1. Next, we move on to the indie comics. We have The Creeping Below, issue 1. Followed by Spawn, issue 357, which I keep forgetting this is not in my top 10. I don't know, I may have overlooked it, but the last issue was really good as we got that origin story of that character that's going to be teaming up with Spawn. Then we have The Deviant, issue 8. Then we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nightwatcher, issue 2. Then we have I Hate Fairyland, issue 16. Then we have Savage Dragon, issue 272, as I continue reading all the way through. And then we have I Lie Popeye, issue 2, which I think is a pretty cool concept, but god dang, that lettering and that font and those word bubbles are absolutely way too small for me to read. And there you guys have it. There are all of my top 10 most anticipated and noteworthy comics for Was it October 2nd, 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you're most excited about for that particular comic book week, if there's anything here that excites you. And as always, guys, I'll leave you more content right here for you to click on. And of course, guys, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always remember, read your comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.